If ever there was a console that deserved more love and recognition than it received during its lifetime, it would be the Wii U. This system was Nintendo's first foray in creating an HD-capable, dedicated gaming console. Unfortunately, due to poor marketing that failed to differentiate this product from the Wii in the minds of consumers, a weak launch lineup, and general lack of third-party support, the Wii U didn't catch on as well as Nintendo had hoped, and is considered to be a commercial failure on many accounts. In spite of this, and the fact that this console is technically inferior to the Xbox One and PS4, the Wii U is actually a decently powerful gaming system. When compared to the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, the Wii U is considered to be a bit more powerful in some respects when taking into account the amount of RAM and GPU efficiency that allows it to outshine the previous console generation. Although the misconception still persists that there are no games out there for the Wii U, there are actually a swath of fantastic games that are not only fun to play, but also look amazing. In order to foster a better appreciation for just how pretty games can look on the Wii U, I've made a list of my top 5 best looking Wii U games. Let's get to it. What better way to start off showing off how awesome Wii U games can look than with a game that literally has HD in the title? The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD is the HD remake of the beloved GameCube classic by the same name. I remember as a kid when this game was announced how controversial it was. Many were initially disappointed with the art direction and cel-shaded graphics of The Wind Waker because people were anticipating a realistic-looking Zelda game at the time. However, time itself has shown how foolish all the naysayers were, as the visuals of The Wind Waker ended up aging remarkably well thanks to the cartoony, cel-shaded style. Rather than just directly porting this game over, Nintendo put a little bit of spit and polish into The Wind Waker HD by introducing native 1080p resolution, creating an alternative lighting engine, and even tweaking the controls to make them more modern and accessible. I love this game so much, and I am happy to say that Wind Waker HD is the definitive way to play this masterpiece of the Zelda franchise. The visuals look so incredible, and the colors are so crisp and radiant that sometimes I just stop and stare until I feel like I'm going blind. Yes, the Wii U took a GameCube game and made it one of the best looking games, not just for the Wii U, but for this console generation. I just want to stop and take this in for a second. Bayonetta is riding through hell on a demonic unicorn that is killing her enemies with its horn. That's just the kind of over-the-top, frantic visual splendor that I expect to see from developer Platinum Games, and in Bayonetta 2, they succeeded in creating what just might be one of the greatest action games, if not the greatest, of all time. When this game was announced as a Wii U exclusive, there was a lot of whining and complaining about it on the internet. People wanted a Bayonetta sequel, but they didn't want to buy a Wii U to play it. The continuation of the Bayonetta franchise was in doubt after the first game, with series creator Hideki Kamiya voicing concerns that a sequel for the first game might never be released. Platinum Games revealed that if not for their partnership with Nintendo, Bayonetta 2 would have never happened. So really, Nintendo were the unsung heroes of that controversy. In addition to having one of the greatest combat systems of all time, Bayonetta 2 never fails to visually impress its players with incessant action, set pieces, and overwhelming presentation that will leave your hands trembling as you try to keep your grip on the controller. I don't think I've ever played a game that did action better, and the spectacle of the whole thing is an adrenaline rush from start to finish.
Not be forgiven! He will never be forgiven! My soul is a Lubin! He will draw his last breath before me!
Splash is a Wii U title that I got for Christmas. I personally had no real expectations for the game to be any good because I had heard all the moaning about how it was just a continuation of Paper Mario Sticker Star, which I guess is considered to be a very mediocre game. I never played that one, but I loved the original Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64, so I decided to give Color Splash a try. I have to say, I was blown away at how amazing the presentation of this game is. They took the papier-mâché art design to almost the furthest possible extreme. Everything is so cute and adorable, from the paper toads and enemies to the paper houses, mountains, ships, and even oceans. This game feels just like somebody took real paper, scissors, and glue and made a game out of it by hand. You can just feel the love that was put into this game by taking in the little details like paper crinkles and folds on the edges of levels and environments, which are everywhere. The music is wonderful. The writing is also hilarious. I was grinning from ear to ear the entire playthrough of this game. Even though the combat system can get a little old at times, the thing cards are enough to keep things interesting. And I won't spoil them by showing them on this video here, but just remember, the thing cards, you've got to try them for yourself, they're great. Paper Mario Color Splash might just end up being one of my favorite games for 2017. One day, I think people will look back and shake their heads at how much people complained about this thoroughly enjoyable game. I have to give credit where it's due, so Color Splash lands the number 3 spot. Xenoblade Chronicles X was one of my most anticipated Wii U games of all. I remember when it got announced in 2013, how excited I got at the prospect of playing an open world mech game on the Wii U. Then, I had to wait 2 agonizing years until 2015 before it was released. But the wait was definitely worth it. This title is considered to be the spiritual successor rather than a direct sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii, which was also an open world game with an emphasis on exploration. When I think of Xenoblade Chronicles X, I think of the immense scale of the world that the Wii U is working overtime to push. In order to provide for a smoother playing experience, I also remember having to download a patch that took ages to complete and took up a ton of my memory. That being said, once that was done, I greatly enjoyed the many hours of gameplay the campaign provided until finally unlocking my Skell, the robot mechs of the game, which took about 30 hours or so of diligent gameplay. Once I enabled the flight capabilities of my Skell, the colossal world of Xenoblade Chronicles X opened up to me in a way that was so seamless I was shocked. With a flying Skell, you can fly right over the walls of New LA directly to any region you desire, provided of course that you have enough fuel. I couldn't believe you could travel from one side of the map all the way to the other without so much as a single load time in between areas. Even in a flying Skell, it can take as much as 20 to 30 minutes to fly to your destination depending on where you begin. This game is one of my favorites, and I continue to be left breathless by the sights of this incredible world. I even love the soundtrack that loops constantly as you fly. Chronicles X is an excellent example of a game pushing the Wii U hardware to its limits. Alright, It's finally time for my #1 best looking Wii U game, and yes, that game is Mario Kart 8. Surprised? Perhaps if I explain why, you may become less so. The explanation isn't really that long either. For quite a while, there were people claiming that the Wii U was woefully underpowered and as such could not truly be considered a next-generation gaming console. Well, Mario Kart 8, in addition to being one of the fastest-selling Wii U titles ever, is the game that forced everyone to look at the graphical capabilities of the Wii U and admit, yep, they were next-gen. Mario Kart 8 runs at 1080p, 60 frames per second on the single-player campaign. Put simply, no other game on the Wii U does this much, this fast, this smoothly. Due to this fact, I name Mario Kart 8 to be my #1 pick for best looking Wii U game. But hold on just for a moment, because we know that this list is a bit premature since The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has not yet been released for the Wii U. And just looking at the trailers for this game, it is very likely that Breath of the Wild could replace Mario Kart 8 as the best looking Wii U game. If so, consider all of the previously mentioned games bumped back one slot. As always, keep in mind that this is only my very subjective opinion, and I really had a difficult time choosing these games over games like Pikmin 3, Super Mario 3D World, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and Yoshi's Woolly World, to name a few. So please feel free to consider these as honorable mentions as well. If your game did not make my list, please let me know in the comments, because I would really love to hear from you. And if you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you haven't already to let me know that, or if you are liking these kinds of videos. Everybody, please be safe, and I will see you all next time. Take care.